I found a slide. I just Googled bird respiration, and I found this slide that I think makes it pretty clear. It's a lot different when birds breathe, inhale, and exhale. It's a whole lot different from what we're used to. What we're used to is when we inhale, the air enters our respiratory tract and excuse me, our respiratory tract, then our lungs and into the air sacs of our lungs. Um, which are not separated from our lungs. They're a part of our lungs. So we don't have these anterior and posterior air sacs, but the air just goes directly into our lungs and through the bronchi, the bronchioles, and then eventually to the alveoli, which are the microscopic little air sacs. And those are surrounded by capillaries, and oxygen diffuses from the alveoli or air sacs into the capillaries. And the air sacs, again, are microscopic and they're a part of the lung itself. So with a bird, when the bird inhales, the air is going to go first into the posterior air sacs, then into the lungs from there, and then it kind of bypassing the lungs into the anterior air sacs. That's inhaling, okay? Exhaling is that the air goes into the lungs and fills the lungs, and this is where the oxygen is exchanged with the capillaries in the there are air tubes in the lungs, and those tubes are lined with capillaries, and oxygen is exchanged with those air tubes. So that happens during exhalation. When we exhale, the air has already, the oxygen's already been exchanged with the capillaries in our lungs, and then we exhale, that's different. But this is a more efficient way, and it helps birds as far as they need to get enough oxygen to be able to fly. So it's more efficient that way, and it enables them to fly. So let's talk about birds a little bit. Most birds can fly, of course, examples: eagles, geese, mockingbirds, many, many others. Some are flightless, like emus and ostriches, which are similar to each other, penguins, kiwis. And they're typically classified according to beak and foot type, habitat, and behavior. So here we have a photograph of a bald eagle. We're seeing more and more of those locally. You can actually see them now. A few years ago, they were 10, 20 years ago, they were not as easy to spot, but I can spot a lot more of them now, at least near where I live in Wayne County. And this is a pileated woodpecker. This is a macaw, and this is a cardinal. So these are all probably pretty common to you, and just remember that the birds are in the class Aves, but we also classify them with the reptiles due to their relationship with dinosaurs. Now we're going to move on to the class Mammalia. The characteristics that mammals share is hair, milk-producing mammary glands. As far as the skeleton, the mammalian skull accommodates a larger brain relative to body size when you compare to reptiles and birds, and differentiated teeth for whether or not they're a carnivore or an omnivore or herbivore. The internal organs of mammals, they have efficient respiration and circulation. They have a 4-chambered heart and, of course, a double-loop circulatory pathway. One pathway goes to the lungs and the other goes to the body systems and the tissues. Their kidneys are adapted to conserve water, and they have a highly developed nervous system. And most mammals have internal development. In other words, the fetus develops inside the mother's body. Okay, so we have 3 groups of mammals. We have the placental mammals, which are the most common, and this is what humans are. Then we have the marsupials, where the fetus that is not ready to be born and face the world on its own yet, climbs to the pouch and of the mother and attaches to a nipple and completes development in the pouch. And monotremes are actually egg-laying mammals. So monotremes have a hard-shelled amniotic egg, like the reptiles and the birds, and a cloaca, again, like the reptiles and the birds. The marsupials, so monotremes include the duck-billed platypus and an animal called the echidna. And marsupials are like the kangaroo and the opossum. The females contain a pouch, and placental mammals have a placenta that is used for exchanging maternal and fetal blood. And that's the most common type of mammal, are the placental mammals. So here we have a duck-billed platypus, which is a monotreme. We have a koala bear, and a Virginia opossum, which are marsupials. A lot of the marsupials they're naturally from Australia, but the opossum, of course, is native to North America, the United States. This table gives you, so mammal is the class, and the group that comes next is the order. So these are different orders of the placental mammals. Let's just pick one. Let's see. Rabbits and hares are in the order Lagomorpha, and their traits is that they have two pairs of incisors that grow continuously, so that's why they have to eat and kind of wear them down so they don't get too long. They have very long hind limbs for jumping. Another one, let's see, an elephant is in the order Proboscidea, which proboscis is a nose structure. So elephants are the largest land mammals. They have a trunk and tusk. So you can look at all the rest of these just for your own one that's interesting to me. I have a kind of a, I guess you say, a phobia of rodents, particularly mice and rats. Mice and rats really are the ones that I'm really afraid of. So I don't even like to have my students dissect the rat because I just have a very difficult time. I have a gag reflex, and I have to constantly fight it. It's just one of those things. I guess people have their differences, and that's one of mine. But the mice and the rats are in the order Rodentia. And voles and beavers and squirrels, you may not realize that beavers are rodents, and squirrels are rodents. But I have always said that a bat is just like a mouse with wings. I thought it was a rodent until, I saw this information. So bats are actually not mice with wings. They are not even rodents. They are in the Chiroptera is the name of their order. So actually it makes me feel a little bit better about bats. Not a lot, but a little bit. And that's going to do it for our lecture on chapter 29. Thank you.